You guys have
Why
spent
are
a lot
people
of
leaving
time.
Cuba, or what is the process for them getting here? I can explain either of them, but you tell me.
Sure, yeah. Do you think that people are leaving Cuba because they don't like communism?
I think we've been pretty clear that we think people are leaving Cuba, or not leaving Cuba, or protesting in the streets as well, because they are opposed to the oppression, to the mismanagement of the government in the country. And we certainly support their right to protest. We support their efforts to speak out.
People are being shot in Cuba as communism breaks down. Meanwhile, the Democrats refuse to admit that the Cuban people are fighting against communism. Some say this is because Democrats are promoting communism in America. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet, we've got a lot to talk about, including the Democrats' response to Cuba and Senate Democrats reaching a $3.5 trillion budget agreement that we will simply not be able to pay for. But we're going to talk about all of that and more. Before we do, smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for updates for future content, and if you like the work I do, you like the videos I make, the most important thing you can do is to share the video. The only way to fight big tech and social media censorship and suppression is to share these videos with family and friends. And now, a quick word from our sponsor. Introducing Virtue Signal, the card game. Virtue Signal is a card game parody of social justice activism. It's a hilarious card game where you play as one of many SJW archetypes and try to collect NPCs while sabotaging your enemy players, with lots of funny cards and references. A great game to play with family and friends. You can get the entire game, including every expansion pack, for only $56.98. Click the affiliate link down below to get your copy today. And we're back. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the new budget agreement passed by Senate Democrats, here on Twitter with the Associated Press. Breaking. Senate Democrats say they have reached a $3.5 trillion budget agreement that includes spending for climate change, healthcare, and family service programs. Let me tell you why this spending bill is an absolute disaster. So if we scroll down on this tweet, you can see that this tweet has 6,600 likes, 500 quote tweets, and 1,500 retweets. Very popular story. A Twitter user named Lucy responds, "If anyone in these comments is asking, quote, how will they pay for this? 1. Taxing the rich. 2. It doesn't matter. Human rights and well-being are more important than rich people's bottom line." Am I right, comrade? So this is a typical response from your average left-winger, from your average Democrat, your average liberal type. We'll just tax the rich. I don't think these people understand economics, because I don't think they understand just how much money it would actually cost to fund this bill. Did you know that if you taxed all rich people in America, 100% of their income, like you took literally all their money, it would only be a measly $600 billion. I've got proof, folks. I'm going to show you this Forbes article by John Stossel, who says, tax the rich don't have enough, really. And I'm going to read you the following paragraph. It's a fantasy to imagine that raising taxes on the rich will solve our deficit problem. If the IRS grabbed 100% of income over $1 million, the take would be just $616 billion. That's only 1/3 of this year's deficit. Our national debt would continue to explode. Then he goes on to say, it's the spending, stupid. Yeah, so this article was written 9 years ago. 9 years, in 2012. But things have not changed. If you tax all the rich, all their money, it won't even be $1 trillion. Maybe it is now, I don't know. But it is certainly not enough to put a dent in this $3.5 trillion budget. It is simply not enough. In order to pay for these budgets, the government is going to print trillions of dollars that we don't have, that we cannot pay for. This burden will go on the working class because it will cause inflation to rise and more economic devastation. But let's talk about Cuba. As some of you may have heard, the communists have lost control. Here on the Daily Mail, first Cuban demonstrator is killed after police open fire on a peaceful protest, while anti-government reporter is arrested on live TV as the unrest continues. So currently Cuba is undergoing dramatic chaos as the people are revolting against their communist government. Now, the really sickening thing about this story is that Democrats have been denying that there is a problem, saying, well, they're just mad because there's not enough COVID vaccines. Oh, there's not enough food. Yeah, but why is there not enough food? Hello? Communism. Here the story says, the first Cuban protester has died after police allegedly opened fire on a peaceful demonstration, while an anti-government reporter was arrested on live TV, as the unrest continues on the communist-run island. Dibias Laurencio Tejeda, 36, died on Monday in a suburb of Havana during a clash between protesters and police. The ministry said that Tejeda was part of a group of protesters that had attacked a government facility in the La Guanera neighborhood of Havana and did not say what caused his death. But witnesses say that security forces had responded with gunfire after some demonstrators had thrown rocks at them. Quote, I think the communists have lost control. They won't have a solution to this situation, said resident Waldo Herrera, 49. The people are tired of so much humiliation, so much repression. Now what gets me is that you can listen to what they're saying. Thousands of Cubans took to the streets of Cuba on Sunday while chanting, "Down with the dictatorship," in the biggest anti-government demonstrations on the communist-run island in decades. Basically, yeah. This is a full-out protest. They're protesting for freedom. They're protesting against socialism. And the cops are starting to shoot innocent protesters while making people disappear. Very, very scary. I mean, look at these images. You can see it all happening here. Now, the worst part of this is the government denying that these things are happening. I mean, just look at the news. From the Wall Street Journal, Cuban protests demand freedom, food, COVID-19 vaccines. Food shortages, COVID-19 and Instagram. The driving forces behind the Cuba protests. Wow. Time magazine saying that it's food shortages and COVID-19 and Instagram. That's causing people to protest. Are you kidding me? It is communism. It is literally communism. It goes to show you where the media narrative really is. Meanwhile, Joe Biden literally went on national television and quoted Stalin.
It's no longer just about who gets to vote or making it easier for eligible voters to vote. It's about who gets to count the vote. Who gets to count whether or not your vote counted at all.
So Biden literally just quoted Stalin, one of the worst dictators in world history. Millions, tens of millions of people starved and died or were killed under Joseph Stalin. Isn't that some irony? Joseph Stalin, Joe Biden.
Creating terror with government purchase, acting out all of his monstrous urges. Big brother plots that would make our world blush. These are the things that should give me a rush.
But Stalin said something like, it's not who votes that counts, it's who counts the votes, quoting a literal dictator to describe voter integrity. So basically, the Biden campaign and the Democrats have been pushing against voting rights bills. This is what happened in Texas when Democrats fled the state on a jet plane, refusing to sign a bill that would promote voter integrity and voting rights. Voter ID, voter security, and other measures to make sure that our elections are fair and lawful. The Democrats don't want that. Like Joe Biden said, it doesn't matter who votes. All right, Joe Biden. Or should I say Stalin? Which brings us to this foreboding warning from Marco Rubio. Here on the Daily Mail, Marco Rubio warns there will be a horrific bloodbath in Cuba if Biden doesn't act, while White House refuses to condemn communism and insists the protests were sparked by government mismanagement. The Biden administration is doing everything in their power to refuse naming communism as the problem for this crisis. But everyone with half a brain knows communism has failed in Cuba, and that is why they are protesting. And I honestly agree that we need to do something in order to prevent this bloodbath, or at the very least, support the people in their cry for freedom. The less communist countries we have, the better off we all are. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Be sure to let me know down below in the comment section. As always, support the channel by joining me on Patreon or Subscribestar. This channel is currently not monetized. If you do join, you will get access to a private Discord server. Anyhow, please share the video with your family and friends. More people need to see what's going on in Cuba, and more people need to know that even if we taxed all the rich people in the world, there is simply not enough money to pay for these trillion-dollar bills. It is going to lead to hyperinflation. If you want to donate, links and everything are down below. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.